Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. In today's video, we have another foundation review. Brand new MAC Studio Radiance Serum Powered Foundation. If I'm not mistaken, this is MAC's first foundation launch in over 10 years, which is pretty crazy. I've definitely seen a lot of stuff going around on social media, particularly on YouTube, discussing the rise and fall of MAC. I remember, the highlight of my week would be going to the Trafford Centre in Manchester and going to the MAC counter in Selfridges and picking myself up a new MAC lipstick. I don't know about you, but I remember buying my first ever MAC lipstick. So iconic. They led the way. I don't know what went wrong, but something just went a bit awry. And I think it's safe to say that they kind of lost their mojo a little bit. Other brands coming along and just knocking them out of the park, really. I have been trying to make a little bit of a comeback. Their MAC Stack Mascara. Brilliant mascara, one of my all-time favorites. I didn't hear anything about this launch. MAC have got a new foundation out and it has serum in the title. So if it's got serum in the title, which referencing skincare, I'm going to be interested in it. So let's have a look at some of the claims of this foundation. It's an all-new innovation which delivers more than 209% hydration. Plumper, smoother and more radiant skin. It won't crease, it won't settle or cause breakouts. 48 naturally radiant shades. 33 skincare ingredients, including 10% hyaluronic acid solution. 12-hour radiant long wear. Is water, sweat, humidity and transfer resistant and safe for sensitive skin. We need to talk about the shades because I've not bought a MAC foundation in years. I thought that I knew my MAC shade. Now, I'm not blaming MAC for my poor foundation shade choice. I feel like everybody knows their MAC foundation shade. Shades are running really dark. So I'm just editing the video and I've decided that instead of rambling about the colours, I would just give you an example. So my usual MAC shade would be an NC25, but if you just have a look on the screen now, on the right hand side you can see what the Studio Fix NC25 looks like, and I naively thought that I would still be that colour. It has changed significantly with the new foundation. So if you already think you know your MAC shade, you can go onto their website. They've got a really handy tool where you can compare the old foundation shade to the new foundation shade and find the correct one for you. The shades seem to be completely different to what they were. I think this is because they have less shades for this foundation. I live so far away from my nearest MAC store that I just had to purchase online, but that's backfired massively. So I've ended up with a really orange foundation. I made it work today and I will continue to make it work because I live in Ireland in the UK, you cannot send your foundation back. Do a lot of research on the shades. They've changed a little bit. We need to put this foundation to the test. So without further ado, let's move on to the application. So time to crack on with the application of the foundation. Now, just a quick one. If you've skipped the video to the application, you might just want to go and just watch the little bit. I talk about the shade range and the fact that MAC have changed their shades. And because of this, I'm going to be applying a foundation that is far too orange for my skin tone. So we're going to persevere anyway. But before anybody says anything, I know that this foundation is too orange. We're going to try and see past that and we're going to just look at the actual qualities of the foundation. This is in NC25, which is supposed to be for light skin, golden undertones. Okay. This is how it's looking. As you can see, it's a very runny formula, which I love. That makes me happy to see a foundation doing that because it just means that it's very lightweight. I'm going to use a sponge. I'm just going to dip into it and start to work it in. What we're just going to, it doesn't look too bad. It looks a lot better with the sponge. I'll do one side. It's gone really nicely into the skin with the sponge, a lot better than it does with a brush. So if you just look past the odd colour, so I've just pushed it into the skin. It's a very lovely foundation to apply. It's very, very lightweight. Coverage wise, not a whole lot, I wouldn't say. I'd say it's a light wash. That's how I would describe it. It's kind of not massively even dark my skin tone. I can see my redness. It's super luminous, which I love. So just on the other side, I'm just going to buff it into the skin. And when I mean buff, because it's the wrong colour. It needs to be massively pushed into the skin. I don't look completely orange because there's warmth in my skin tone. So in relation to the packaging, it is really, really lovely. It's like a glass bottle. Like on the front is like this lovely gold lettering. Now with the pump, you can just lock it, which is super handy. I'm going to go and finish off the rest of my makeup, see how it sits over the top, and I'll be back then with some further thoughts. So I'm back and I finished off the rest of my makeup. I think the foundation is looking really, really nice. I've definitely had a good first impression with it. However, I don't know whether it started to look a little bit patchy, like when I was trying to put on my liquid blush. I kind of had to work a little bit harder to blend over the top of it. I have to say that I don't love how it looks on my chin. It'd be very hard to pick up on this camera, but I do have texture on my chin and see it there, so moving forward I would avoid using a lot around that area. I've clung on to a couple of dry patches here. Do you know what? It hasn't settled into any of my fine lines that I can see around my face, but it is looking a little bit, I would describe it as a bit makeup-y around my nose here and around here, and I haven't powdered. I put on a little bit of powder just under my eye hollows here and a little bit on my nose, which doesn't look like I have because my nose still looks shiny. Just as a little close-up. And I feel like it looks a little bit makeup-y around the forehead. I don't know whether that's just me and whether it's just the colour. I will check back in later on in the day and we will see how the makeup is faring and what my final thoughts are. Fingers crossed it's a good one. Fingers crossed that it holds up really well. But we'll see. I'll see you later on. Hey guys, so at the end of the first day, I actually didn't feel like I'd had a really strenuous day, so I didn't really put the foundation massively to the test. However, it is day 2 of testing out the foundation. I had this foundation on my face now for 12 hours and I'm currently stood in the rain, but I think it's fared actually pretty nicely. As usual, it has come away a little bit around like my mouth, so just to like come up really closely, as you can see, it's come away around my nose there, look. I didn't powder my nose today, so didn't powder. I think it'll be worth testing it out with primers. I've only used the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream, and that's all I used yesterday as well, and it stayed perfect yesterday. But as I said, I wasn't doing anything very strenuous. Today, it's been a full-on day, full 12-hour day, and it stood the test, I think. I think any foundation that I wear would start to look a little bit worn by this point. I think for a 12-hour wear test, it's come out pretty well. Hi guys, so I'm back now on what is day 3 of testing out this new MAC foundation, and I think it's gone really well. Really want you to see past the dodgy colour that I bought. That was not MAC's fault, completely my fault. But I've been able to see past that, and I can see that this foundation actually has some very true claims. I think that it definitely makes the skin look smooth, it definitely blurs pores, and it does not sit in any of my fine lines. It's not greasy looking, it's just kind of sits very nicely and very pretty on the skin. It's definitely a light to medium coverage. I think the first time I tested it, I used a sponge. Since I've used both a sponge and a brush, I've not quite decided which one I prefer. My skin is normal to dry. I don't know how it would fare on people with more oily skin. I have not tried to powder this foundation, so that's something to bear in mind, that I haven't used powder at all, so I don't really know how it works with it. You can definitely tell that it's a serum based foundation. Sometimes when I try a new foundation, I don't generally get a reaction, but sometimes I can get, you know, a little breakout here and there. You wouldn't even know that I've tested anything new. My skin has enjoyed it. I have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed wearing it. I've enjoyed using it. It claims that it's water, sweat and humidity proof. Now, it's not been as hot this week or humid, but I have put it to a significant wear test of over 12 hours, particularly yesterday, and I was out in the rain and it was fine. The only strange thing I noticed, it was actually today when I wore my sunglasses, it actually did come away on my nose. So I'm not sure how it would fare if you were wearing glasses or had a mask to wear for your job, something like that. I'm really not sure about that. Just wanted to mention a little correction to earlier on in my video. I stated that there was 48 shades. Now, I think I was on the MAC US website where I saw that, but then when I went onto the UK website, it said that there were 56 shades. I don't know whether they've just not updated the US one, but there are definitely 56 shades. I would imagine you would find something for your skin tone. MAC are usually really good at that. So would I recommend this for mature skin? Absolutely, I definitely would. I have nearly 41-year-old skin and it didn't sit into any of my lines, into any of my creases, and I do have creases. Definitely a foundation that you can reach for on a day-to-day basis. It does feel really nice on the skin and it's a really enjoyable foundation to use. So that brings us to the end of this MAC foundation review. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope to see you in the next one, but until then, take care and bye-bye.